Hi guys, Dr. Mitchell again. This time we're talking about void methods with parameters again, but this time we're going to actually walk through creating an object with void methods with parameters so that way we can represent some desired behaviors. So what are we learning today? We are going to look at how a method signature for a method with parameters has the name and the ordered list of parameter types. We'll look at how the values in the parameter list when I call the method correspond to the order and type in the method signature itself. And we will get some more practice overloading methods, which allow me to write multiple methods with the same name but a different signature. So if you remember before, we had our calculator example where I had two calc average methods that allowed me to calculate the average with different sets of numbers. This time, we're going to make a frog hop. So let's say we've created a frog object already. We've already done all the rest of the setup. And now we want to make it hop. So if this was the description of what we want to do, we want to make a frog move forward a given number of hops, or a predefined number of hops if it's not specified. And the frog can also move either to the left or to the right a given number of hops, just like any other frog would do. So based off of that, first I need to analyze and figure out how many methods I should write to represent these behaviors. So take a moment to just mentally underline any potential methods I might write. So ultimately, I'm going to have at least two, right? I'm going to have one that's going to move forward a given number of hops, as well as one that's going to move either to the left or to the right. But I also have a third method that I might be able to write here because they can move forward either a given number of hops or a predefined number of hops if I didn't actually specify how many hops it moves. So I'm going to write three methods: a move method to move forward a given number of hops, a move method to move forward a predefined number of hops, and a move method to move left or right a given number of hops. Now I need to look at what information do I need to know to define these behaviors. So I know that I want to represent the fact that a frog is going to hop. How many times he hops changes on different information or parameters. So I need to now figure out what is that information or those parameters that I'm going to use to change how he hops. So in this case, take a moment to just kind of mentally highlight any of information that I can use as parameters for these behaviors that I've decided. So I know that I'm going to use a given number of hops, right? I need to know the given number of hops in my method. Or if that is not given or included in my method call, I'm going to just set a predefined number of hops. Like by default, he's going to hop this many times. I also need to know which direction he's going to hop in one of my methods and how many hops he will make in that direction when I use it. So I'll start with the first one. Move forward a given number of hops. So we know that he can move, so I'm going to call my method move. And then since the behavior is based off of a given number of hops or how many hops that the method is called with, I'm going to include that as a parameter for the method because basically the method can't do what it needs to do without knowing that information. So of course hops are going to be whole numbers, so I'm going to create that as an int and then num hops. So when I call num hops or call move passing a number of hops, I need to make sure I'm passing a whole number. And then what I'll have that method do is it'll print out a message, the frog moved forward however many hops. Then I'll have a default version, kind of a quote-unquote default version of that method, where if I don't call move with a number of hops, then I'm just going to move it a specified number. Okay, I'm just going to pick a random number that I want, and we'll just say that by default, if I don't say how many hops to move, then we're going to move them 3 hops. And then lastly, I have my method for moving either to the left or to the right a given number of hops. So moving either to the left or the right will then be the direction. So I'm going to specify that as a string. So that way I'm passing which direction he's going. And then the given number of hops will be an int again. So if I call move with a string and an integer, it's going to use this version of the move method to move the frog either to the left or to the right, that number of hops. So that's what I will print to the user if that's what they decide to do with the frog. So when I piece this all together, focusing just on those methods, I have a default move method that's just going to move the frog forward 3 hops. I have a move method that's going to move the frog a specified number of hops. And then I have a move method that has a string to specify which direction and an int to specify how many times he hops. So first things first, in my main method, I'm going to create a frog object called frog1 and make frog1 move. Notice that this move has no parameters. So the compiler is going to match that with the method signature that has no parameters, which is my first one. So it prints out the frog move forward 3 hops. Next, I'm going to create another frog called frog2, and I'm going to move frog2 left and then 6. So I'm going to then search for the method signature that matches a string and an int as the parameters, which in this case is my last method that I defined, public void move string direction int hops. And then that's going to print out the message, the frog moved to the left 6 hops. Lastly, I'm going to move frog1 again. So he's going to move forward 2, right? So now that's going to search for the method signature that just has an int as a parameter, which is my second one, public void move int num hops. And that will print the message, the frog moved forward 2 hops. So what do we take away? We see that a method signature is going, for a method with parameters, has a method name and the order list of parameter types. We see that when we call the method, the values in the parameter list have to match the order and type in the method signature. And we've seen how we can overload methods to have multiple methods with the same name, but different signatures so we can perform similar tasks. Thanks. See you guys soon.